And the flashback ended, and I realized that as a 11, 12-year-old boy in the 5th grade, I had sincerely wanted to invite Jesus into my heart. And I did. And I meant it. I was sincere. I believed that he was the Son of God, that he rose from the dead, that he lives forevermore. I believed all of those things that the Bible teaches, and I invited him in, and it was a life-changing event to me. But when I'm in the emergency room looking down at my body, and I have seen this event occur in an image of a flashback, but a vivid flashback, a really strong, vivid flashback, I realized suddenly that I'm no longer that tender-hearted kid. I had a zeal for God back then, but I no longer had that zeal. When I was in the 5th grade, I wanted to follow God, but somehow along the way, I'd lost my way. And my life was all about me. I had become so self-absorbed and self-centered and driven for success that I just lost my priorities. And I realized that I was no longer the kind of kid that I wanted to be when I was in the 5th grade. And I felt shame and guilt and this embarrassment came over me because I knew that I had failed with this decision I had made. I chose to be a Christian in the 5th grade, and I looked at myself as a complete failure, almost a loser of a Christian, because I'd had no evidence of it. I had apparently what I now call a hip pocket salvation experience. I got saved. I let Jesus be my Savior, but I never made him my Lord. And he's not asking for us to only be Savior. He wants to be Lord. He's inviting us to invite him in as Lord, and I hadn't done that. Well, anyway, this was what happened in the emergency room. And then it all changed. It all started changing. I don't know how much you want to hear about that, but
I know you talked kind of the memories started coming back. I guess it was in March 1970. You started to remember heaven.
oh my, yeah. Yeah, that trying to reconcile what I remembered about heaven is really hard for most people to understand. It's not hard for me to understand. It's so easy and so logical. But I have trouble trying to find the right words to communicate it accurately. My mind and will, my emotions are my soul, and my soul was never damaged. My spirit is my heart, the real me. That was never damaged, but my body was a mess, and the blunt trauma that occurred to my brain was severe. It was actually fatal, and yet I survived it. But when I woke up and began to put the pieces together, my memory was, it was like a jigsaw puzzle, but at least half of the pieces are gone. So there was a piece here and a piece there, and some of them fit together, and then there was pieces missing. And I'm trying to figure out what my life was and who I was and who these people are that come to see me. And it was really complicated. And then to add more complexity to this environment, I tried to pretend that I didn't have a problem. I tried to pretend that I didn't have memory problems or eye problems or back problems or arm problems. I tried to just bounce back and believe that God would do everything, answer all my prayers, that he would be a miracle working God, which he is, but I didn't ask for help, and I didn't let people know I was struggling. At least that's, I think I did that wrong in some ways, you know. I could have used some help during that time, but I didn't get the help because I didn't tell people what was really, what I was really struggling with. Did I tell you that we had no insurance? And that had a big factor as I look back at it. I had just gotten old enough to where I left my parents, so I was no longer on their insurance. And then I lived at college, and I was supposed to have my own insurance, and I didn't. I took all my money and put it toward flying, and I just figured, oh, I'm not going to be needing insurance. Well, when I was in this airplane crash, I had no insurance at all. So everything was expensive. And so when I got discharged, I did not have insurance for some of the help that I needed. So there's lots of reasons that I didn't get the help that I probably ought to have had.